Well, hello, my darlings. I'm Faith from Faith and Grits, and back with a collaboration video with the lovely Rach and Bella Crafts. Lovely mother-daughter team, Rach and Bella. Beautiful group of human beings over there, honestly. So this is a best of British junk journaling collaboration to sort of shine the spotlight on UK-based channels. And our hashtag now for this is hashtag best of Brits JJ. So please make sure you go and check it out. Yes? Hashtag best of Brits JJ. Now, Rach's kit is called Whispers of the Manor. Now, these are my versions of her paper because I have tea-dyed them all. They're absolutely gorgeous. So Whispers of the Manor, and while the collaboration is running, the kit is on offer for 40% off from Rach's website. So I'll put all the links for everything down in the description box below. So the idea is we partner up with another UK channel and recreate something from their channel. Now, my partner was Denise at Junk Journals UK. Oh my word, Denise, I had such fun going through your videos. Absolutely lush. But like a moth to a flame, I kept coming back to your playlist about ephemera from Bookpages. So that's what I've gone through with this video. And I've got a simple one. I've got one with a refillable notelet. And I have one with a signature with a twist on the closure. So I do hope you hang about with me here to see more. I do get myself into a bit of a muddle at times. I have myself a little battle with Crop-a-Dile at times, but in the true British fashion, I will keep calm and carry on. So, I hope you enjoyed, darlings. Back with you in just a tick. Right, my darlings, let's make a start now on Denise's project. So, basic kit I've got around me, basic craft kit, scissors, glue, ruler, cutting tools. I will be using my Crop-a-Dile at one point. If you don't have one, honestly, use a hole punch and reinforce it. So that can go away for now. It's an introduction. I've tea-dyed Rach's beautiful papers to get this sort of washed out effect. It is Britain after all, so why not make it look like the whole cup of tea went over it? So, but I quite like, I've never tea-dyed the kit papers before, and I'm loving how the backs of them, you've got this sort of washed out effect that's come through on the back of the paper from the tea staining. So really like that. So pouring through Denise's channel, I had the absolute time of my life. It was so much fun going through, but I kept coming back to her playlist called Ephemera from Bookpages. I kept finding myself going back to it over and over and over and over again. And I thought, right, I got to do this then. So there's a technique I've seen her do a few different ways, and I want to replicate the 3 ways I saw her do it. So, bit of advice from Denise's channel is, get your book page. Before you tear your book page out, there's already a loose one there. Stick that in there somewhere. Take one page, I've already torn from there, and glue it to the next page. So you're reinforcing, in lieu of having something like cardstock or heavier weight paper, to make use of all that book page, glue 2 pages together. I'm sure it's something I've heard mentioned in the past. It's just not something I've ever done myself, and I thought, I'm going to give this a go. And I was quite impressed on the strength of the paper, especially very old paper, which I'll show you in a moment. So get this on. I'm going to try to hold out in this video. My sinuses are against me at the moment, and I've been sneezing my head off, so if I have to pause, I'm just going to have to pause. So get that, where's the bone fold? Oh, there's one. 2 pages glued together, and just tear them from the book then, glued together. There we go. So this piece now can go off and sit to dry for a couple of minutes, because of course I've just done it wet. Here's 2 other pieces I've done. This is from a book from the 1890s called Great Thoughts. It's not worth anything. I do look up the value of the books before I go into them. And this is from a Bible, a Welsh Bible dated 1879, I think it is, or 75, something like that. 1870 something is the date in it. And I had it for free. The guy who does house clearances gave it to me because they can't sell them. And the binding's falling apart on it, so I'm going to use it. So these have been glued 2 pages together. So I've got my kit papers here ready. I'm going to try to get myself into a little bit of a rush on purpose on camera. I find I tend to overthink things, and it takes me forever to get something done. So to keep my book page edges on the whole piece, I'm going to trim this down right up to the edge of the text on all 4 sides. Because I don't want, I want the text page to be visible. And I'm pretty sure Denise has done the same thing in hers. So no, she's got some lovely projects, and a lot of her videos are very much like craft alongside me type videos, where she's making, those kind of videos you can put on and have alongside you as you're pottering away on your own projects. So, no, happy with that. The one thing I might speed up in this video, though, is the inking. So, if I see a new idea, am I still recording? Yes. If I see a new idea, I'll often stop what I'm doing and I grab a piece of cheap copy paper. And I did this for my idea book as well. And I'll mock up things up out of what's laying around me, out of cheap white copy paper, because I can write on it. So this is all it is. It's just a long rectangle. This is a piece of copy paper that's been chopped this way. So you get your thirds, make your triangle, and then the backing. I want to put, this is version 1, I want to put an eyelet and a wraparound on that. We'll come back to those at the end. If you want to attach it to a page, you leave the back, of course, unembellished. So I'll come back to the other 2 versions as well. But I want to mock up one of that backed on camera with you. So I'm going to fold, no measuring. If you want to measure, by all means measure. Some people need those nice crisp straight lines, or just put it into thirds. Make sure that bottom line is straight and give it a crease. And I tend to work in A5 in my journals. So I can see by looking at that size is perfectly fine to go onto an A5 page. Or I might want to make it shorter. For this one, I'm not going to make it shorter. I think I'm going to leave it that size. But I do want some sort of shape on this end. So I'm going to fold in 2 triangles on either side. And those need to get glued down, because I will eventually get an eyelet into there. All this is depending on the size of the book page that you have and the dimensions of your thirds. So I could give you measurements, but again, you don't really need them, because everybody's piece of paper is going to be a different size. So fold in thirds, decide which side's going to be your flap, because you may want to do your flap on the other side, on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. So there's that. And next, it needs to be inked, but I need it back now with Rach's lovely tea-dyed papers. You could round corners. I'm not going to on, at least on the first one anyway. But just back it with the papers. Let's have a look. Just grab anything, really. Quite like that on that side. Or that on the... Now, the triangle one, see if I can do this. My thumb there. About there. So I'm going to put a little mark there with my pencil. But I want to come straight down that mark to get the width that I need. So I'm going to put my paper on a straight line on my mat and get as close to that mark as I can. Like I said, I'm not measuring anything. Yep, and tear. Work out where on that triangle I want the design. I'll bring it down a little bit. No, I could go down about there. And pencil mark, line up my pencil marks, and tear it. And same on the other side. Or just use your ruler, if I can get it orientated from my perspective. Or just use your ruler and tear. Now, it just needs inking then. But then you can go back and add embellishments, because I think this would be a perfect mask make to do with something. And because this is printed on copy paper, so it's not printed on heavy cardstock or anything. Pardon me. The two book pages glued together have given you a bit more reinforcement as well. But once you get the kit papers on both sides, you've got something that's got a bit of a substantial feel to it then, don't you? So, glue that on. Glue book. Page over. And repeat that then on each section. Or not. I mean, if you want the book page exposed. In fact, I might do that on a couple of sides of this. Let's have a look now. So, kit paper on here. Come on. There we go. Kit paper on there. And carry on then. I might leave the inside exposed and make the pockets out of... Yes, let's do that. Let's cover that bit there. Next, let's have another one. An up and down one. Let's go with that. So, tear that one off. Keep that. Tear that one off. Keep that one. And again, I'm going to line up. Let's try. I need to know where my edge is. There. That's so. Rip. There we go. And then just get the sides torn down. I want some of that pink on there. Or more of that pink on there. Yes. Rip this off. I think I'm ripping it too quickly. I need to pull it a bit slower. and that top bit. Pull that one off. And try it a bit slower. There we go, that's better. And I gotta sneeze again, hold on. Alright, sorry about that. Here, now let's get this, no, yeah, ink that first. Ink the edges. Really good. My fingers are going to be full of this now at the end. And get that glued on. So, as I would say in the, with the collaboration, it's lovely to have a sort of consortium of British junk journalers come together as well, because, you know, and sort of celebrate each other's channels and help draw attention to each other's channels. So honestly, go and check out Denise's channel. Lush videos over there. And this has inspired me to sort of go back to basics a little bit and, you know, harvest all this book page that I've got around me, you know? So, here we go, and here we go. So I've got my flap covered. I need something on the front and the back, and we'll come back to that when we get to the next stage to add the pockets. So what do I want on that front? Just go into it and go for it. I quite like that, actually. So I want that torn off. Oh, and right, I love the fact you've put the definition of tea in there, hidden into the image. That's brilliant. So let's ink this. Sort of see where we stand. I love this sort of aesthetic as well, Denise, of that book page shining around the edges of the project. It's sort of, it harkens back to sort of the heart of what junk journaling is, really. So no, it's a lush idea. So for that one, I'm just going to tear my sides, I think. Slowly. And tear the other side. Slowly. And then tear off that bit there, because I can see the edges. I come right up to the edge. So, and ink that again. Ink that as well. Oh, we're definitely turning colder here now in Wales. I'm based in South Wales. As you can probably tell from the accent, not British by birth, but Wales is my home. Welsh family. And I'm not fluent Welsh, but I can muddle through. I can catch the gist of a conversation going on, and I can I know some basics. So if you ever come to this part of the world, please have a look up what the Welsh alphabet is, because it will help you immensely. That was the one thing that sort of, when I first got over here, and I had a lady sort of take me to the side, and she said, in work, and she says, "Do you know the alphabet?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know the alphabet." And she goes, No, do you know the Welsh alphabet?" And I was like, "I didn't know there was a difference." And she goes, bah, there's a difference. So she taught me the Welsh alphabet, and it sort of changed my life. I could read all the road signs. I could pronounce all the place names. I could read the Welsh signs in the supermarket. It's a very phonetic alphabet and a phonetic language. So if you can sound it out, you can spell it. So I'm quite pleased with how that looks. What do you think, darlings? With that book page around the edges, it's got that sort of, oh, I'm all mucky now in the glue. My hands. So that sort of effect to me with the tea staining and that book page showing through on the edges is just lush. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to get, I'm going to come back to the centers of those. Let's get one more piece on camera stuck to the back of this one. Shall I go with the same image, or shall I go with something? No, I'm not going to fuss about colour, because all the colours in Rach's kit do coordinate and go together really well. What about that one? Might chop that image off. Or should we go one more? Teapot. I do like the teapots. Or something like that on the back. Or, no, I think I will go with that one, actually. Yeah. No, I want to save the top of that. It's got the definition of tea on it. The planer on the back. So, keep it simple. Down that way. Just eyeball it. And is that going to fit? Yes. And that way. These scraps won't go to waste. They will get used for something. So let's get that inked. I haven't inked the middle yet. Let's ink that side. So I hope everyone out there has been enjoying the collaboration. I'm filming this a little bit early because I've got other things I've got to crack on with and get ready. And no, the collaboration, what I've gotten up to so far has been really, really good. And introduced to a few new channels. I'd known of Denise's channel before, but I hadn't really gone in depth and explored. And I'm so glad I did. She's got some lush projects in there, some lots of like sort of what I call craft along type videos or craft alongside me type things. And I do want to go back and look at your autumnal journal that I've seen on there. I've purposely not looked at that because I want to go back. I looked at it. I mean, I looked at bits of it, but I saw enough of it to think, no, I need to go back when I'm ready to work on my autumnal and look at it some more. But yes, definitely check out the book page playlist. That back to basics. Let's use up the book page that we've collected around us. Because the more I've been junk journaling, the more I find myself getting into more and more mixed media elements. And then I think, well, I forgot to sort of go back to basics of what drew me into this in the first place. So no, I'm really, really pleased with how that's come out. Really pleased. So this will be idea number 1, which is this one. So I'll come back for the book pages. But to do idea number 2 and idea number 3, I need to get 2 more of these prepped. So I'll be back with you, my darlings, in a tick. Right, darlings, back now. It's another day for me. It's another day in work. I'm back in my little happy room to play with this lovely idea. So I've had them backed. I did go and back each section. I know I said earlier that I was going to leave some of the book page, but I just got carried away with myself and just kept going. So some of the background pages as well I've tea dyed, and as you can see, it's washed it out, but it's left this sort of antique-y feel to it. And what I especially love about this effect is the background is no longer factory white. It's sort of bled through ever so slightly depending on what Rach's design was and what colours were there. I've had these lush effects on the back. So it's definitely a technique I think I'll try more in the future. So let's put these out of the way a minute. So for this one, that was my demo I did with watching Denise's videos. So for this one, I'm just going to add a pocket on the 2 inside panels. So I've just cut these to size, left a little bit of paper to fold over to reinforce the sort of in and outside of the pocket. Give those a stick down. So that one I think is going on that side and that side. So, and once this one is wrapped up, I'll move on to the version 2 and version 3. So just to show you, no measuring, I just laid this paper up against here with a pencil, tore with my tear and ruler, or I use a little mini chopper. So let's get these, pardon me, inked and stuck in quick. I've made some little pre-cut tags to go in these. I've got some pre-cut tags in a drawer next to me that are just ready to rock and roll. You could go to town with your embellishing here and carry on, but I'm just going to get the basics done in this video because I want to show you the other 2 versions of this, which I'm quite excited to play with. So let's get this first basic one in. So really, I could have done this the other way around. I could have put the background pages on here and go back and made much bigger pockets with the kit pages. I don't know why I didn't. It just didn't occur to me when I was trying to plan it out. So grateful for Rach and Bella for doing these collaborations. They really do help. And I love the fact that we can connect with these other UK channels and, you know, share. Because, of course, how we source things for our journaling here is quite different to how people source things in other countries. But it's nice to learn, you know, what people in other countries make of what we have here, you know, because oftentimes we look at things like people in America getting from Hobbycraft and Michael's and Dollar Tree, and we're like, we don't have that. But what we do have is different. So I think that's the beauty of junk journaling, is just making do with what's available to you. And there's no rules in junk journaling that everything has to be measured precisely. And that appeals to me and the way my brain works. So there we go. And pin in the glue face. So there's your basic trifold book page backed with the tea-dyed kit pages. I'm not putting anything on the back there. Let's get an eyelet into this. And if this thing will cooperate. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. The handles keep sliding off. So I've pulled out a few likely suspects from my laces and trims. The eyelet in there. Stick with the bronze ones. And if you're in the UK, I did find those. These are nice, deep ones I found on the UK Amazon. If I remember, I'll go back and have a look and see if they're still... Have I got that on the red satin? No, I don't. Right, darlings. Battle 1 of 3, which is me versus the Crop-a-Dile. Try it again, Faith. Here we go. That's better. And it wasn't better. Battle 2 of 3. Ah! Like I said, I've got a love-hate relationship with this thing. It does my head in that it locks when you've squeezed it. There we go. So see if I can get this to focus a little bit. So anybody here in the UK interested, leave me a comment. I'll see if I can find the UK listing for these. Is it going to focus? Because they are quite deep. Not like your sort of cheaper ones that you get that tend up being too shallow. So, a couple of suspects here that I found. Oh, and where's those cards gone? Oh, they're in here. I've just took some craft cardstock. That template is not going to waste. That is going away inside my idea book. So I've got a blank one that I can work on later to go in there. And a blank one that I can work on later to go in there. Let's pop the corners off that one. Because I won't have time in this video to do that. There we go. So, all it needs is closure. And it's ready to rock and roll. So, do I want lace or do I want rickrack? I think I want that tea-dyed, whatever it is. It's not raffia. It is cotton. If I can figure out where the end is. Or do I just pull it out? There's the end. There we go. And take it all the way. I keep my trims wrapped up in book page like this. I find it easier to manage. But then when you do start taking them all out, it's like letting the genie out of the bottle then. And that requires an afternoon downstairs on the sofa watching reruns on TV to put them all back tidy again. Let's do one more pull. And that should be long enough. So go. If not, I can do more. So let's put this from the back. I can never remember if it's from the back or from the front to pull it through as a closure. Loop it through and give it a little tug, not too tight. Yeah, it is from the back to have that sort of nicer effect. Pop this out the way. And I can either wrap it and give it a tuck, or I can tie it. I go tying it. Into a bow. So I've got a nice little parcel there that can be stuffed with all sorts. And of course, you could add extra pockets on extra slips, tucks, pockets on any of those panels in there. So I'm quite happy with that as version 1. That's the simple version. Tuck there, can embellish there. You could put another tuck on the front, embellish there. You can add extra on the back, and away you go into a journal. Happy days. So that is version number 1. So version number 2. Here we go. Find it behind me. Now, version number 2 that I saw Denise do is with a refillable notepad. So this is my template. These scraps out. Put them somewhere where I'm not going to forget where they are. Yes. So this is my template I did from just a piece of copy paper. So you fold those two in, get your thirds. That will have an eyelet as well. Pocket there. Leave the back or not, depending on what you're going to do with it. Pocket on the inside. Don't do anything on this side. That back middle piece. Leave that one. And let's see if we can work it out together. So, I've done a pocket on that one. I've lined the panels, added a pocket there, and I've left the back blank. So I need a base for my notelet here. So in her video, you have a two-hole notelet with a ribbon tied to it. But you glue the bottom of the notelet to this so that it can be refilled. So let's have, why is this here? Over here. And so all I did, sort of hold my book page up, because I'm looking at just that panel. Because I want to know the size of my back piece. So I got a little pencil mark there. Pop that in the chopper. And chop it off. And now I need the height of my back panel here. And this will be my sort of max size. Let's bring it up a bit so I've still got some exposed book text going all the way around. Pop that one in the chopper. And there. So that's my back page of my notelet. Now I just need notelet paper to go in there. So let's have a piece of that, piece of that, piece of that, that one, piece of that, brown paper. Should we use, what else is in those backgrounds that I tea-dyed? A few of them washed out a bit more than others, which would be perfect for writing on. I think I've used most of those. Should we have a bit of that one? So, where is the base? Is here. Confusing myself now. So, pop this out of the way safe. I might not need that new sheet, actually. Pop that on there. On the base that I've just done. A ruler. And tear away. And of course, you could do this with long folded over bits. But I'm just going to put these in a bit of a random order. And that's all you're going to do is try to get papers cut down to that size. And don't confuse them with your scraps laying around, like I'm doing now. Size is that. This is an unusual sort of paper. This came out of an old photo album. So it's the paper that you had separating the photo album pages. Do a couple of short ones. And then do a couple of longer ones. Get that in half, maybe. And then shorter again. So I hope you all have been enjoying the collaboration. It's been really good fun to catch up with everybody, what everybody's doing. And interesting to see the different takes on different videos. I can't think of the name now at the moment. Oh, who was it? Was it Crafty Landon? May have been Marie over at Crafty Landon. The shaker tag. Oh, please tell me if I'm wrong. No, but like, you know, I've seen the shaker tags before, and I'm thinking sequins, not for me. But I've never actually made one. But where's my sheet? I'm sure it was her. Where's it gone? Yeah, Crafty Landon. And she did one with fabric and vintage buttons. And my brain just went ding, 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 ding. That's a brilliant idea. But no, It's been really interesting watching everybody's take on other people's makes. Because we all got different things in our craft room, isn't it? So I think this is going to be enough paper, actually. Give that a rip. And get some of this yummy Amazon parcel paper in there then. Oh, come on. Behave. That's me. I get in a hurry, and I know if I get in a hurry and I rip it too quickly, it goes wonky. So no, I'm blabbering on now. Let's get this stuck in, because it can be refilled. Add one more piece. There we go. So, the idea then, I got to get these in some kind of order. Doesn't matter, really, because I can go back and tear the ends. But I want the tops married up. I want the tops married up at least the best I can. And if you do want to be super fussy, you could just do it as a waterfall. But I want it just as a notebook. Sorry, I don't want to go off camera. But you want sort of them to be centered right at the top edge. And not necessarily straight, but straight-ish on that top. Because that's where your holes are going to be. But to have this as a refillable notelet. Go. Right. Is that going to be too thick? Pop that on there. On the template that I've just made. And clip it. Clip, clip, clip. In the center, or at least closest to the center as I can get it. Eyeball it. That's in the middle. The way around. Yeah, that's in the middle. Is that going to be too thick to close? No, that'll be fine. So, that's clipped into place. Let's give these a little bit of a clean up down here. Some of these are too long. That's okay. That can come off just a bit. So, I can't remember from Denise's video. Did you punch them first? I think you did. So, I'm going to punch all the way through both of these. Where's that ribbon gone? The flat. Do I want lace? Or I'll stick with that brown ribbon, I think. Because I got enough of that to go all the way around, I think. Brown? Or that again? That brown will lay flatter. Let's go with that. I can always put a different one on the closure. So, punching again. I want no eyelets involved with this bit. I want 2 holes. Yes. 2 holes on either side of that center that I've just done. But I want to have my guide. I want them the same height. A little bit more. No, a little bit more. Again, not measuring, just eyeballing. So, cut all the way through all of it with that. And the same on the other side. And get the ribbon put through. Right, I got myself in such a muddle here with the ribbon. Honestly, the brown ribbon I ended up giving up on. I've gone for some elasticated lace ribbon instead. But I just got myself in such a muddle working with it. I've had to speed it up. And here I'm adding the elasticated lace ribbon and getting it secured, ready for gluing. Yes. So, go for it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Am I safe to take these off? leave them there, leave them attached there. Let's get this on. Because the idea then is you go back, once you've finished the notelet, you can go back. This will all be glued down flat. Get some extra glue up under there and around the holes. And just untie that bit of lace and add more paper to the notelet. That's the idea anyway. Whether I'm implementing the idea correctly, I don't know at this stage. Honestly, oh my word. All right, let's try it. If I don't, at least it'll be something I'll learn from. There we go. Center it on there. Get that pushed down. So my little notelet is in. There we go. Whether I'm straight, I don't know. I can't tell from this angle. Nothing's oozing out anyway. Yeah. So that is a bit. Loosen that up just a little bit until that glue cures in there. Tie that a bit looser. But we're in. And all of these can then be removed. Tie this a little bit looser. There. I might trim that off later, we'll see. Or leave it sticking out. I don't know. My bow's a bit wonky. But then that gets closure. So let's do that. I'll stay put now. Get myself all in a fluster then. Because I want to do Denise's videos justice, because I've had such fun going through and watching all the different book page ephemeras. And this is definitely one to bank as an idea. Oh, come on. What is going wrong today? Final battle, 3 out of 3, me versus the Crop-a-Dile, and I eventually succeed. No, it is in. So let's get a closure on this one. And what should we go for? The same ribbon? There's not much of it left. May as well. Let's put it through as a single. Come on, fingers. And come back around. And give it a bow. So, I need to trim that down a bit, or do I leave it flopping over? I think I'll leave it flopping over. So, a removable, refillable tab. So, start on the option number 3. So this one goes, oh, I didn't put my tags in there. Oh, honestly, darlings, I'm losing the plot here tonight. So that goes in. And then there is a tag to go in the front. The back can still have something added to it. I have to work some magic editing this one, I think. And that is a bit bulky for me. But I don't want to tie it a knot because it's I want it to be removable. That's better. Just have to play with it a bit, I think. So that is option number 2, to add a waterfall sort of notelet to the back. Now, if you didn't want it to be refillable, I'm sure there's other options. I could have gone all the way through this back piece with eyelets. That probably would have been easier, to be honest. But it depends on if you're going to attach this to something else, or if this is just going in the journal as is. So that was option number 2. And option number 3 that I watched Denise do, that I thought was really interesting, is putting a booklet. So you got your same sort of fold, your trifold, as a cover, and of course that can be closed coming from that direction, or it could be closed coming from that direction, depending on where you form that triangle, which side you form the triangle when you do your bases. But of course, as bases, I think these can be knocked up quite quickly. So I've done a little signature to go into this one, but when I was watching the video, I'm like, it's the same trifold, but different. And I'll show you why now. Because on her trifold, she didn't start sewing in the center. She started on the outside, which means your signature thread becomes your closure. That absolutely blew my mind. I've never done that before. It's never occurred to me to do that before. So I'm going to pop these in, and let's peg them in place. And I will speed up this little bit of sewing. So poke my holes first, so I know I'm right in that crease. Let's put one more on there for good measure. Estimate my middle. And go. Give that middle extra wiggle. And through that bottom. And one more hole up towards the top. Through that book page. And needle and thread. So I'll speed this bit up, darling. So basic 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but start from the outside and end on the outside to create the closure. Right, my darlings. So I've got my signature sewn in, and I've only ever sewn a signature in going from the inside out and back in. My closures have always ever been on the inside. So let's get a knot tied into that on the outside. But for ephemera, especially considering like embroidery thread is thin enough, as a closure, this is definitely something I'm going to do more of. Definitely. So I've gotten that in. Let's get these clips away. And give those a little bit of a crease for memory. So I've added I did throw another book page in there because I thought this was the Shakespeare one. It's not. It's the Welsh Bible one, but got some book page in there. Some of that photo album page. Some of the tea-stained background pages that really washed out. That'll be lovely for writing on. I've got a blank tag ready for embellishing there. Plenty of room on that one to add something else. Space in the front pocket for a tag. Let's pop some of those corners off as well. Ready. So no, I think this trifold idea can be run with in so many different ways. But honestly, check out Denise's other videos of different techniques and directions for folding book pages, because it's definitely something I'm going to return to for sure. So that can be embellished then. And no need for an eyelet, because your signature thread is now your closure. So it can be wrapped around that way and tucked, or beads or things added to the bottom. I'm just going to wrap it around in opposite directions and tie it in a bow. Tie it in a neat little bow here. And that is the trifold in 3 different ways. Sorry I got myself in such a muddle on that second one, honestly. So 1, 2, and 3. Honestly, brilliant ideas. Definitely something I'm going to go back and play with. So you've got your plain pocket to open up, your plain trifold with the book page elements sort of exposed around the edges. I just love the effect, especially in conjunction with the papers. It's really, really lovely. So that's the simple one. Then we had the one I got myself in such a muddle about. So I've got a tag on the front that can be embellished. I've got space there for a pocket. I've got a notebook here that can be removed. I think that'll flatten out over time, to be honest. I think it'll give up after a while of being in a book. So all of these then can be pre-creased if you want to do that on a notebook. They can be removed, placed elsewhere in the journal then, and more papers popped in there. And I left that one blank on the back because I don't know where these are going to live yet. Tie that one back. And then option 3 is to put in a little mini signature then and use your binding thread as your closure. So again, that effect with a book page, I'm loving. And there's plenty of room in here to carry on embellishing and playing in just this simple little piece here. Because I could go back and add edges, bits of stamping into some of the corners of these pages. But again, I'm really, really pleased with how they've come out. And apologetic that I got myself in such a muddle. But never mind. We all do. And it's harder to do when you're on camera as well. But I'm still a baby channel. I'm still learning. I've only been doing this year. But, right. So please go and check out Denise's channel and her playlist on book page ephemera. And I do hope you have a go. So thank you ever so much to Denise for being my partner in this. I've had a lovely time. And thank you to Rach for inviting us to join this collaboration. It's been an absolute treat. And by the time my video goes up, I should be prepping and packing ready to go on the retreat here in the UK with the lovely ladies for the first time. So please check out Denise's channel. Check out Rach. The kit is on, as long as the collaboration is running, I believe the kit is on offer for 40% off. And please, please, please check out the hashtag and share the hashtag if you have crafted along with any of us that are taking part. So thank you all ever so much for your support, and I hope to see you back here very soon. So from me, bye for now.